All right, back with you here as we roll along in hour number one. Darren Smith, this is San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. San Diego State wins last night, and they live to fight another night. Coming up on Saturday afternoon, 3:10 right here on the Mighty 1090. They will take on North Dakota State. We'll get to that coming up here shortly. But 73-69 over New Mexico State last night. Up in Spokane, joining us as he does each and every week is the AHC, the AHCIW. Had some camera time last night. He is Brian Dutcher. Dutch, good to talk to you.
Good to be back, Darren, and good to talk to you after a big NCAA tournament victory.
How's everybody feeling here today? How's everybody, the excitement of winning a game like that? That was a tough overtime game. I mean, it looked physical. It looked like people were really, really tired at the end of it. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good. I mean, we got the kids up. We had breakfast this morning. We don't have our practice until 4-something this afternoon. So we're good. We're going to do our first film session before we go to practice. So we're already in preparation mode for the next game in the North Dakota State Bison.
You know, Dutch, I was watching on television this morning. I was watching some of these early games, and CBS has a camera crew that's embedded with you guys, and I don't know what that's like to be around. I think it's a good thing overall. But they had the cameras inside of the locker room post-game, and it just looked like to me, and maybe this is clever editing, like Coach Fisher was trying to pick the team up a little bit. Was the team a little bit down after that game last night?
Darren, that's the thing with this team. It's always hard to tell because we're pretty emotional flatline. I mean, we're not rah-rah up and cheering or after a victory, or we're never too low after a defeat. It's tough to read this team. So I think Coach was trying to, let them know what a great accomplishment it was to win a game. And you just had to look to the game before ours. Oklahoma State had a lead. North Dakota State hit a 3 to put it to overtime and then won the game. And then not one game later, we have a lead. The team we're playing, New Mexico State, hits a 3 to put it to overtime, but we prevailed. So there's 2 games back-to-back with 2 buzzing-beating threes to tie the game, but yet we prevailed and Oklahoma went home. And so that's what time of year we're in. You have to find a way, no matter what happens, to stay focused and win that game. And I think our kids were more emotionally probably tired from being in such a tough game than they were worried about how we performed down the stretch.
Yeah, it was really, it was a unique look for those of us, Dutch, that are on the outside looking in because, we don't always get a chance to see that sort of stuff. And, I don't want to suggest that the team was down, but I certainly thought that Coach Fisher, it seemed like he was reminding them, like, hey, guess what? After tomorrow, after today, there's only going to be 32 teams remaining, and you're going to be one of them. And that's a really, really good thing. So it was almost like he was trying to get their minds in the right spot after that.
Absolutely. He was trying to get them to enjoy the moment, to not worry about, letting the other team come back and catch us, maybe not playing at our absolute best at crunch time, but good enough to win. He was trying to get them beyond all that. We could have done this better. We could have done this better. Bottom line is we won. We're excited with the victory. That's how these games go at this time of the year. And let's move on and rejoice in the fact where we're still playing.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher. He's joining us live from Spokane. This is San Diego sports leader, the Mighty 1090. So, Dutch, I know it's cliche to say it. During the season, you might have to worry a little bit about style points now. But, this time of year, does it really matter how you win against New Mexico State? I mean, would it matter how you win against North Dakota State? Indeed, it's just survive and advance in this sucker.
It is survive and advance. There are only good teams left here. You might say, well, this seed, that seed. Seeding is irrelevant at this time. You got to play good basketball to win against good basketball teams. And so you throw the seeding out, you look at the next opponent, you say, how can we beat this next opponent? And that's what we're hard at work doing right now. We're formulating a game plan that we think will give us the best chance to win the game. And the team, like it has all year, will prepare its best to perform that game plan. And this is a really astute group. This group is high basketball IQ. They'll take what we give them. They'll run it to perfection, and we'll see if we've got them in the best position to win the next game on Saturday afternoon.
There was so much conversation about their 7'5" center, Sim Boular is his name. He gets into foul trouble in the first half. I think it had an effect on the game itself. Was that by design? I mean, did you guys have a plan here to try to go after him, try to exploit him? He's not the most athletic-looking player out there on the court. What was the plan for Boular, and how well did you execute it?
Well, offensively, we wanted to try to beat him up and down the floor. Obviously, once he's established, he's a force in the game. So I think you saw early in the game, we really tried to push the tempo, and we got a rebound to get down and try to do something offensively before he set himself defensively. And if you have to go through his body, you're not going to score. He does a good job of just being big and not fouling. So we were very fortunate to get him in foul trouble in the first half where we only played 8 minutes. And, Darren, we post double all season long.
Right.
But we just had so much respect for his ability to pass the ball that we didn't double him. We played one-on-one in the block with him. We got into some foul trouble of our own with Skyler. But in the end, the game plan worked out. We didn't give them a lot of threes, which they shoot out of a post double. And so we were happy with the game plan. Obviously, we gave Aronis too many threes late in the game. But you're playing at this time of the year because you're good. And they're a good team. We love Marvin Menzies. He's done a great job with that program. But we are so thankful that we were able to battle the giant inside and come out with a victory.
He's so big, Dutch, that, ask Josh Davis. Josh Davis went running into him, and he bounced off him early in the first half. He's so big. How did you simulate that in practice? Was there any way to properly do it?
You don't simulate it. How do you simulate 7'5", 300 pounds? It's impossible.
I don't know.
And so we just, we just did the best we could preparing for a guy that size. And it's so funny because the guy playing next to him is exceptional, but he's only like 6'10", 265. And so he looks small compared to the giant, but they're both big. So you look at a WAC school with that good of big men and then good guards to put around him, and you're just grateful to escape with a victory.
And he's also so big, too, that when he makes contact with players, there's a realistic chance that he could hurt somebody. And there was a play early on, I think it was in the first half, and he was called for a foul on it, where he gets tangled up there with Spencer, and Spencer comes away, looks like he's limping a little bit and holding his shoulder. Is everything okay with Skylar Spencer?
Yeah, I don't think Skylar's got any issues with the shoulder. I think he got maybe a little stinger or whatever that would be at the time. But the one thing you don't want to have happen is have him fall on you.
Right.
So thank goodness all his falls were when he was on his feet. We didn't need him tipping over on top of one of our guys.
No, he's a unique player. He really is. All right, Dutch. So you guys win last night. Just if you could walk us through the end of the game last night, the end of regulation for you guys, and how it went from. I wrote it down. 10 points. 7 points with 61 seconds to go. 5 points with 16 seconds to go. What were the breakdowns there?
Obviously, we didn't rebound the ball. We got them to miss a couple initial shots. And then when you don't rebound the ball, you give them a chance at a second opportunity. And sometimes that's the best chance to get a three is on an offensive rebound. We didn't rebound the ball. They got an offensive rebound, kicked it out to their best shooter. He hit a three to tie the game. The play before that, they scored. We quick inbounded the ball, but we had three guys within about 6 feet of each other. It hit Xavier in the hands. He fumbled it out of bounds. Obviously, that's a cause of frustration for us. And you always walk the line of usually late in the game, we like JJ taking the ball out, but he wasn't in the game. We thought we needed rebounding with Skylar and Josh. And Josh grabbed it, quick inbounded it, and fumbled it out of bounds. So errors that if you're not strong mentally to say we're going to play the next possession can cost you a victory. But to our guys' credit, they played through the mistakes, maintained their focus heading into overtime, and were able to get a big NCAA tournament victory for the Aztecs.
Just want to clear one thing up, and I think people would rather hear this from a coach than hear it from a radio host. When you're up by 3 in a late game situation, if you're going full court, that's when you guys foul like you did at the end of overtime last night. But when you're in a half court set like you are at the end of regulation, that's not really an option, right? That's not an option on the table to foul up by 3?
It is an option. Maybe we should have been able to get that conveyed. I think anything under 10 seconds, you're thinking of fouling.
Okay.
So maybe it was at that fine line when they took the ball out, whether we could have got a foul on him or not and put him on the line. Obviously, we've run into that scenario a number of times. We fouled USD way early in the year with a lot of time on the clock, and they ended up getting a shot to tie or win the game on us. So you always walk the line with that, but I would say when the Aztecs are concerned, we're going to try to foul with anywhere under 10 seconds left in the game. Up 3, we are going to foul in that situation.
Okay, good. Well, there you go. See, that's why we ask coaches these kind of questions here, because I thought that there would be a difference between running a half court when they're inbounding under the basket versus having to go full court, where you don't have to worry about some kid pulling a quick trigger and getting 3 free throws.
A lot of that, too, is it's heat of the moment. It's a packed house. It's a loud environment.
Right.
The team is away from you. If you can't get the timeout or get that conveyed, is they quick get ready to inbound the ball. Sometimes the messages are tough to deliver from across the court. So you have to use your timeouts wisely. You have to say, is this a situation where you want to use one? and then they made the big play. And then even with the play they made, Xavier had a great look at the end of the game, 6 seconds, length of the floor, got to the rim, missed a little runner that could have won the game in regulation. So this is the time of year where that ball can roll in or roll out for you at a critical time, and if it rolls in, you play on.
We're talking to Brian Dutcher at San Diego Sports Leader, the Mighty 1090. All right, Dutch, let's look ahead now. How much time have you spent before they won last night? How much time had you guys spent as a staff looking at North Dakota State?
Well, it's kind of a running joke in our program. If we don't want to play the team, give me the scout, because I had Oklahoma. So I took the higher seed. David Velasquez had North Dakota State. So I'm playing catch-up right now. David's watched a lot of games on him, 6, 7, 8 games leading into this game already. The rest of us are playing catch-up. We're strategizing right now as to what we think will be a solid game plan. And we'll meet with the team once we, as coaches, decide what we think will work. And then we'll have a counter. Obviously, we'll have what we think will work. Then we'll say, if this happens to fail, here's what we'll go to. And so we're in the midst of that right now. We'll convey that to the team this afternoon and hopefully have a game plan that will allow us to make it to Anaheim in the Sweet 16.
Is there any deja vu for you guys here? I mean, similar to last year at all, where a team like Florida Gulf Coast comes out of nowhere, they become America's darlings, and then everybody's rooting for them. Does it feel at all like that up in Spokane? I know nationally, their team and their program's getting a little bit of run here. Any deja vu for you guys?
Yeah, that's just I don't think it's deja vu. I think it's a yearly story. If you play a lower seed, the further you play a lower seed into the tournament, that's the team they're talking about. We had great respect for New Mexico State, even though we knew they were a lower seed. Haven't watched them on tape. And the same with North Dakota State. We watched them on tape. We know they're good. So whereas the media might say this is a Cinderella story, when you look at tape, you look at the team you're playing, you know they're good. There's no Cinderella involved there. It's going to be two good basketball teams playing against each other to try to reach a Sweet 16.
And the one thing I could tell you about them is I think that they lead the nation in field goal percentage, right? I mean, that's the one thing I think I've seen from North Dakota State. I think they shoot over 50% for the season, which you don't see a lot.
Absolutely. They're very disciplined. They put the ball inside. They're extremely talented offensively, and then they pack it in defensively. They're going to pack the paint and give us an opportunity to shoot some threes. So hopefully Xavier, Dwayne Poley, AQ, and Matt Strigley will have an opportunity to get some clean looks tomorrow where they'll go in and we'll be able to counter how they play defensively.
Coach, I want to just wrap up here on one note, on a somewhat personal note for the program. And I've been and I think everybody should be respectful of the wishes of the Fisher family here. But it was brought up on television last night, and everybody saw Mark Fisher sitting with you guys on the bench. He has been there in attendance for all of the home games, but has not traveled with you guys. How about just as a staff having Mark Fisher there sitting on the bench with you guys last night?
Mark is an exceptional basketball mind. And at this time of the year, it's good to have him here. He is integral in our offense, thoughts for what we want to do offensively. And it's great to have Mark be able to make a road trip this year, and be a part of hopefully leading this Aztec team to another victory and advancement in this tournament.
Well, Coach, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Congrats on the W last night, 73-69 over New Mexico State. We will be watching and listening tomorrow, 3:10 in the afternoon. At least that's the scheduled tip time, though. You never know with this stuff, right?
Yeah, we were an hour late last time, but we're the first game, so I know we'll run on time.
Oh, so you'll just screw up.
Last night we ended up tipping an hour late.
Yeah, what did you do for the extra hour?
Sit in the locker room and hope the guys can keep themselves alert and ready to play.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Best of luck this weekend.
All right, Darren. Thank you.